Hello, everyone. This is your host, Vasudha Sharma, on yet another episode of When You Meet a Leader, only on Rainier Avenue Radio World. I have with me a very special guest today. She is an author, speaker, development and marketing consultant in higher education, Brenda Cook. Welcome, Brenda. We are so
And just bring them up, bring the vocal right through the computer.
Hi, Brenda. Can you hear us?
I think I've got the volume like all the way up.
Brenda, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. I don't know.
I guess she says everyone.
Hi, Brenda. I can hear
She
you, my
says I hear
dear.
both of you, so I guess I'm all set, but I can't hear.
Okay, so you just can't hear her.
Yeah, well, she is sure that people can see and hear me, so.
Okay, but how's she going to interview you if you don't have? Let me see these.
She
things.
says
I hear
that
you,
she hears
Brenda. I
both
can hear
of
you.
Okay, give me a second here. I'm gonna get these damn beats going if it kills me.
While Brenda is setting up on trying to hear us, I wanted to share some of the important details about our guest. She has worked in professional development leadership position, and her career has included healthcare, higher education, and nonprofit fundraising. She has most recently served as director of advanced
Tell me about it.
Call of the Sea, the mission of which is youth marine science education under sail. Before Call of the Sea, Brenda Cook served as director of development at California State University.
Oh, it's okay.
Our
Never
book,
mind.
now
I
published,
just unmuted.
is entitled
I
The
just unmuted.
Entrepreneur's Family Seeking Recovery, Balance, and Growth. So I hope Brenda is now all logged in. Brenda, how are you doing there, my dear? Can you
She'll
hear
click
us?
on when she's ready for me, I think.
Okay, these things are not working.
No, she'll click on when she's ready for me, okay? Just leave it alone.
So what do you want me to do?
Just leave it alone. I don't need those.
Okay, can you hear her?
No, she'll click me in when she wants me to come in, I think.
Brenda, you're on the show.
You got your speaker on. What are your volume here?
Yeah, I'm on the show, okay, so. Vasudha, can you hear me?
Yes.
She can hear me.
Yes. I can hear you. Can you hear us, Brenda?
Not hear
over your collar,
you.
over your shoulder. Make sure your microphone is turned
It is,
on.
I've done that.
Click on it. Okay.
Brenda, can you use headphones?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
Ah, jeez.
And she says to me, use headphones, your speakers are not working. So let me
Put this over here.
use my other headphones over there. In my bag. No, in here.
Nowadays, we are a victim of technology.
Let me
sometimes.
put this in. This one goes
There you go.
over there. Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear us, Brenda?
Right there.
Can you hear us, Brenda?
As usual. I can't see.
It's right
Can't
here.
see it.
Right here.
Brenda, can you hear now, my dear?
All right. Have you got anything?
How's it now? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. That's so delightful to hear you.
Finally. Well,
I start I'm
that's
using
that's what
your
life is
headset.
about.
Yes, isn't it?
keep yes, keep trying until you get it.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
we are so glad you joined us. I shared, your bio with our audience and viewers, and we have welcomed you on the show while you were trying to adjust your speakers. So I welcome you again now that you can
Thank
hear
you.
me. It's so
Thank
nice to
you.
have you.
So great to
And
be here.
thank you. Yes. So I'm gonna get right to the questions now that we can hear each other. And, I am so excited to, talk to you about your journey, your book. So tell us about the title of your book. Why did you choose this title? The Entrepreneur's Family Seeking Recovery, Balance, and Growth.
Well, I chose this title because I so know the entrepreneur's family. I grew up as the daughter of an entrepreneur and discovered all of the unique characteristics of an entrepreneur over time, but I inherently knew them because I grew up with one. And it was like rediscovering it all over again or knowing what to call it because not until I was in my 20s did I really start to realize that my father had been a true entrepreneur in all his characteristics, his mannerisms, his way of dealing with people, etc. And that was a discovery in and of itself because of course he didn't call himself an entrepreneur, uh, but he was. And then I lived with a family that had to deal with the recovery, balance, and growth issues that are so obvious in a family of an entrepreneur and many families that have multiple generations of legacy in a business. So I did an in-depth study of really why some of these issues arise and how one can mitigate some of these issues. And on the road to recovery for people in the family businesses, the ones that don't become the stars or the ones that choose to do something else, all of the issues that can happen among siblings with a very driven parent, I began to see this is really a journey of discovery of who you are, having grown up in a very unique environment.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important in, most of the families, that we pay attention to how the dynamic works. When we have families where parents would be so invested, but have they paid attention? Have they tried to listen? Have they tried to give equal, lend their ears equally to all their children?
Mm-hmm,
So I
mm-hmm.
think that's a very important topic you have taken, and directly relates to mental health. This month is also a mental health awareness month,
Yes.
so it's so important. And I think the first institution, any child, which the life of any child would be touched, is through family.
Yes.
So it's so important that you have included that element. So what was that compelling factor that made you write this book?
Well, I have dealt with so many issues over the years with siblings and relative to the family structure, the family business, how my family structured it, how values were developed or not developed in certain cases. And I've seen firsthand that, boy, there's a lot of work to be done. And I have gone through such a personal journey that I really felt compelled to write about it. I felt compelled to tell a story from my own circumstances and study in depth the various aspects of it. And so begin to be able to tell someone how you can avoid these issues, whether you're the parent that's the entrepreneur or you're the child that's in the business or the sibling that is not in the business. All of these are factors that really can change one's life. I know that, for an entrepreneur, it's a manifest destiny. It's the business is a yet another child. So that is something that no one ever really recognizes in the midst of growing up and being engaged fully in the family, because many entrepreneurs are very engaging, either personally if they're introverted, or if they're more extroverted, they're just engaging in general. And they take you up in their sway. They take you up in all of the things that go on. And sometimes you think it's magic and wow, so many things are happening. I'm part of this, and it's very dynamic. And you don't think about yourself in the sense that, oh, I must be, maybe I'm missing out on something, or or maybe there's something I should be learning as we go along, because you're swept up in it. And I don't mean to demean it in any way. It's a unique environment to have been available to anyone that grows up, because you also can learn innovation. You can learn to be a leader. You can learn to stand up for yourself and stand up in any situation, because you feel that there's an autonomy in each person, and each person can be self identified and self progressive. So I don't know. It's but not all people come out on the other side feeling that way. Some really bear the burden of, okay, you're the next one, and you will be this vice president and then the president.
Mhm.
And you will not consider other options. And there you are. And I guess I was fortunate in that was not the case for me. But then it was the case for my two brothers, and one embraced it and one didn't. And, being the third, I was kind of the shadow box, because I could see what was going on and wanted to get inside the box, because of course you want to be part of this. But that's not always going to be the case, because of the way people evolve. They evolve into ownership. They evolve into a sense of entitlement. It's really crazy how I map out in the book how these people that I knew changed over time. If they were never called back to a reality that was how this was established, and the values, and why are we doing this?
Exactly, exactly. Yes, I think that why is so crucial. Because of some technical issues in the beginning, we started a little late, so we are almost in the middle of the show right now.
Yes.
So I just wanted to thank our viewers for bearing with us and, joining us today. And thank you, Rainier Avenue Radio World, for this great opportunity to bring you as a guest on the show When You Meet a Leader. So I'll continue our conversation. Tell me, what is the primary message in your book? What do you want to tell with the book?
I want to tell people that they can learn from their experience, but they have to have their eyes open and try very hard to know themselves, both the entrepreneur who doesn't necessarily know himself or herself. I mean, they're just driven, and they have these characteristics that really can make them very successful. But they're not pausing to think, about their self-worth, self-identity, all of that. And so everyone in that type of family needs to be able to have other interests other than the business, other avenues to pursue. And I think most importantly, the changes of habit that an entrepreneur parent can make while the child is growing up can be very significant, even if they're in little bits and pieces and chunks. When you think of the diligence that goes on with someone in entrepreneurship and the dedication, I propose avenues in my book that someone can take on incrementally, slowly, but moving on and keeping them going within the family through
Okay.
all ages.
That's
And
that's amazing. I am very intrigued by the message.
yes. Well, it's important to really turn things into a positive when you've seen a lot of things that may have gone the other way. And so that's what learning is all about. And writing the book was a real learning curve for me because I had to in-depth explore things that I hadn't explored before, and I found a lot of answers.
Of course, you have to do the entire vision exercise. Where are you going with this?
Yes,
So
yes.
it's definitely a lot of introspection when you're trying to write a book like that.
Hmm.
So you have mentioned to me that about a double-sided coin of
Hmm.
recovery and discovery. Tell me what
Yes.
that is.
Well, I was on the edge about using the word recovery because basically people do need to recover from certain events in a family-owned business, depending where they are in the whole family structure. And they might have to recover from saying, no, doggone it, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go off and do my own thing. Or they might have to recover by saying, well, we're going to break from the standard pattern here. And we're going to set up a fund so that each of us can invest in a different way, in a different aspect of the business. We're going to allow people that are inherently part of this to pursue something different within the business if they want to, and to really listen to each other. So I began to see that, it's not only recovery for yourself and your own identity, but it is also recovery for this huge resource that has been put into an entrepreneurial endeavor. And to see it not succeed at some level in future generations can be difficult because, there aren't that many places with the same resources that have been allocated. And it's a tremendous resource in this country when you think of all the both small businesses, which is the framework of our country, and the entrepreneurial businesses. This is a huge investment on so many levels, both in our taxation system and everything that happens in this country. So turning that around from, a sort of static situation to one that's very vibrant would be something I would really value seeing.
Yes, that is a very positive way to look at things. And, I think you're right. Recovery and discovery is a double-sided coin.
It is indeed.
It is, yes. So, you know, how do you think this book can make a difference in life of entrepreneurs' children?
Well, I really feel that I would like to be an advocate for the children. One of the entrepreneurs in the book that I feature, and they're all anonymous, and I have 10 stories of different entrepreneurial families and settings, said that he woke up to the fact that he needed to be spending more time with his son because he heard from the son's teacher that every time the son was asked to write a story, it had the message in it that he wished he had more time with his father. I have to imagine there are some really driven people, and there's, the husband and wife that one of them never sees what the teacher evaluation has said. And so he really listened to that. And so when I contacted him about telling his story, he said, this is brilliant. We really need to do this type of thing. And the reason why I say that is because he's a very intelligent, very sensitive person. And yet all the demands that come at somebody that's very innovative and creative are, pretty overwhelming. So he had designed a project for his son when he was in junior high. And this was to involve many children from around the area to go to his firm and work on a set project so they could see what the inner dynamics were of being in that firm and what it was like to solve a project. Yet his son was put in there just at the same level as the other students trying to work on it. And, it was very rewarding because he said riding up in the elevator with his son in the morning with his backpack on at 7:30 a.m. was one of the most bonding experiences he'd ever had with his son.
Oh,
That's a heartfelt experience, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. I
And
think when I'm listening to this incident, a picture is being created in my mind.
mhm,
So it's definitely a very strong way to express that dynamic,
mhm,
that unsaid moment of your days when you are
yes,
together as a family.
yes,
You absorb so much.
you do absorb so much. And so in some ways it's stopping and paying attention. And that's what I kind of deal with in developing a calendar for the entrepreneurial parent, both for the younger child and the older child, which focuses on touch points that can become habituated, again, in chunks into their lifestyle. So they're always looping back to each other, which to me is my experience from being a busy career woman and trying to do committees and boards and all the other things that can happen in traveling. You do get kind of knee jerk and you have to revisit, okay, why am I really doing it this way, and might they really want to do it this other way, and maybe I should try something different. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, now I want to actually move on to something, I heard on the grapevine. You might tell me if it's true. You are doing a TV show, are you?
Well, yes, it isn't out yet, but it's coming up. Yes, an interview and unleashing your story, which is very exciting. And I've seen some of the takes and listened to it, and it's very compelling to see some of the stories, and mine being among them, of how you can transform certain experiences into something that can be a strong and potent dimension of someone else's life.
Well, that's amazing. So, have you already formed your script? Have you already gone deep into it, or you're still into the initial phase
No, I've completed the filming, and it's just in
in the
uh,
works?
final editing. So we're so
Oh,
looking forward to it.
yay!
Yes,
So
yes,
we'll
so
see
looking
Brenda
forward to it.
on TV pretty
Yeah,
soon.
we'll see. Yes, I hope so.
Well, that's really exciting. Congratulations.
Thank
It
you.
takes a lot of, I would say, creativity, thought, work to put something together like that. And with the kind of work you have done, and the amount of confidence you have put in this project, I think it'll be amazing. So
I'm
I
looking
look.
forward to it.
Yes, me too. I look forward to seeing the episode where you're featured on. The name of the show is Unleashing Your Story, right?
Yes.
Okay. And where can we watch it? Like on what network?
Well, I don't know all the networks yet. That's being in the works.
Oh,
Some
okay.
of them have already been lined up, but I feel it might be premature to say until it's ready to
Yeah,
go.
yes,
Totally.
I think it was binge, but I'll look
Is
up.
it, it? Yes, that's the first one.
Yes. So, well,
What is
congratulations. Very exciting. So, tell me about the release of your book. I assume that you are, very soon you're in the process of releasing this book.
yes, and it's in print and it's on Amazon.com. And I am doing a launch on Kindle soon, in the next, probably in the next week. So stay tuned because it will be that special value on Kindle. And, I think that will raise the visibility. I had a unique experience of going back to work full time just after my
Mhm,
book was complete. And well, it's not unique, you did the same thing. But
mhm.
it delayed my doing this next phase a little bit, but I'm anxious to get that going. So, I want to get out there and I want to talk to these families and I want to see how we can make a difference in people's lives.
Absolutely. And you created a website as well. What's that
Yes,
website where we can find you?
yes, that's www the entrepreneurs without an apostrophe fam.com.
Wonderful. And what resource do we find on that website?
Well, it talks about the types of things that I can do and work with families on and how that can be structured. I think for one thing, some of these concepts are very new for some families. Again, it's this frenzied existence we live. So it's really sitting down with them and finding out what their direction is and what the direction is they want with their family and how can they accomplish that.
Oh, okay. So that's amazing. So it's not only a place where they can find you, but you can also support families through that website who are seeking
Yes,
your help. Okay.
yes,
That's amazing. And are you also having a copy of your book on the website? People can find that
yes, they can purchase the book through the website
through the website as
as
well.
well as Amazon.com.
Okay, well, that's amazing. So it's easy. Just try to get a hold of you and get your book.
And I would say to you, Vasudha, as one author to another, I found it really wonderful to start my book when you were just launching and loved your title. When you need a
Oh,
leader has been and a great offshoot of that, and it was very inspiring, and it mirrored all the things I've seen in my career as to why women should really rise up to do what they need to do.
oh, well, you made my day. Thank you so much. I'm
Oh,
so
happy to
honored.
do so. Yes, happy to do so.
Yes, yes. No, I admire that, when women are supporting each other, because nowadays I feel like what is more important is to amplify, especially people voices, where everybody can have a fair chance. Everybody has feel the same love, same
Yes,
equality, and I think that's very true, especially when it comes to women. We need to cheer each other a lot. So
for
thank you for
sure.
saying that. And, I am very excited about all your endeavors. Your book is launching, you're going to be on the show. And, it's just your speaking engagements. I'm going to follow you around, and
Thank
we
you.
wish you good luck.
Thank you.
Just, we are almost towards the end of the show. Any special message you want to give to our viewers and listeners today?
There's always hope. Anything can turn around. Any family can take a second look, take a second view. And there's so many tools out there to accomplish reframing and the way you look at each other and the way you see each other. And just see the opportunity that's inherent in growing up in a family that is so unique, um, and set that aside in terms of all the financial part of it and think about the passions and the wonderment that's there. And that's where you should concentrate.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Believe in your passion, put the focus on yourself, and at the same time, count your blessings. Having a
Yes,
family is a great blessing.
it is
So
indeed.
it's just so amazing talking to you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to our viewers and listeners for the show tonight. Take
And I
care.
thank you all very much.